And we are live.
That we are.
Lovely. Oh, not a bad latency either. I'll take that.
There you go. Quite reasonable.
Yeah, that was what, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that. There we go. Lovely. Okay, so we are live. There we go. Hopefully the push notification has gone out.
Yeah, my phone is boozed.
Lovely. Love
Marston
that.
told me.
Love that for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, let's go and get that bit out.
I didn't find any images, by the way, Carlos. I assume that's...
Sorry, they're in the old Google Drive.
Oh.
Because I remember I put it in the group chat the other day, didn't I?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I put it in the group chat that because I was at work doing it, I couldn't obviously get you the NAS drive, so I put them in the old school Google Drive. The only thing that's in the NAS drive is the retro on out.
Yeah, I've got that one. Oh God, let's hope I've mended this then. Only one way to find out, I suppose. Here we go. This is where it takes everything offline. Google Drive.
If not, I'll copy and paste them over into the NAS drive.
Bear with.
So just let me know if you get stuck. I'll copy and paste them over to the NAS drive.
Okay, I'll give it a go. 551, isn't it? Okay. Any videos at all? Sorry, having
no videos this week.
Having a production
just a
meeting.
retro.
Just the retro, yeah. Just having a production meeting on air, everyone. Sorry about that.
How we roll.
How we roll. Okay.
Here you go for the benefit of those who are.
Oh, it says there's nothing in C4.
No, probably not, because I didn't put anything in there.
Okay.
So for the benefit of the people watching in YouTube now, as a pre-look at what you could be winning on the show very soon. There we go. I don't know if you can see that on there. And if I turn it round the other way, you can see what the skin of a Boeing 757 looks like on the inside.
Nothing in C6 either?
Oh, perhaps not. It might have been in one of those. I've done a literally drag and drop in there, so it could be.
Nothing in C7 either?
Oh. Really?
Or are they not the right file types?
They're probably not the right. Yeah, because
C8 hasn't got anything in it. Right,
it's difficult to.
Is it?
It on the work laptop. It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps I should start taking my own laptop into work.
Probably best.
Actually, I could do that. To be fair.
Probably best to do that than use a work laptop. Right. So what did I say? So C4 has got wet P. Right. Okay.
I hope C4's an explosive story.
See what you did there.
What do you think, Andy?
What? Oh, a bit of an aeroplane.
Bit of 7.5.
Bit of an error.
Very nice. It's not very thick, the skin, is it?
No, it's oh, where we go? If I put that to the camera, there we go. Yeah.
Right. Not sure if this is going to work. I'm trying an experiment.
I'm tempted now. I've seen how good the engraving is on this. I'm tempted to get one myself.
Uh-oh.
And it's the silver one. You see, it's why I wanted Alpha Indios, because it was the grey paint job.
How am I doing for time?
52.
Okay. Can you keep an eye on the time, please, Nev?
Of course.
I'm loading everything as quickly as I can. But having to do the conversions is a bit tricky. C6. Yes. Oh, right, C7. No, stupid computer. PNG, that one. Ooh.
Your new toy looks nice, Nev.
Thank you.
There's so many jokes.
Although it does look like it's just come back from a lunar mission onto Mars.
Yes, I think someone's taken the heat shield off it. No,
Is it weighty, Nev?
and it's not too bad actually. It's much better for the camera. It's got a much nicer fluid head on it. People will be wondering what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, that's what I say, but
They won't.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm still chuckling.
But yeah, you can pay a lot of money for tripods, and I wasn't prepared to pay the full whack, so I got something which was a little bit less expensive, but it's still good. It'll be handy for our air show activities and better for interviews and stuff like that. So, yeah, looking forward to trying that out at the next opportunity.
very nice.
So yeah.
Right, C8.
Yeah, I think I will order myself one. You can have anything engraved in it you like, you know.
Right. Evening Avgeeks and Pilots. Look at that. Evening, Darren. Kevin Wallander. That's a new name, isn't it?
Oh, Kevin's been in there before.
Oh, is he? Okay, all
Yeah.
right. I mean, I did have an 8-9 week absence in my defence.
There you go, Andy. You could order yourself 5 or 6 of these and have them as placemats on
He's
on
got
the
enough
bar.
excitement with his kitchen going on. I don't.
Yes, there's enough going on here for now.
I was just looking at the video you showed us of your kitchen, and it looks like it's almost done.
It's getting there. It's getting there. Almost done. Yeah.
You certainly have
Maybe
been.
by Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I have missed you all.
Remember the picture we saw before that you sent, and the boxes are still there, and they're still boxes with boxes.
In it.
It's a good job we've gone live, Carlos. Let's stop talking about it.
Quite.
It's a nice big space, though, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
I can see a pool
If only,
table.
if only it was full of stuff.
Snooker table, pool table.
Well, enjoy the show, guys. I'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.
La 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 la. Well, long may this lovely weather continue, but the garden could do with.
That's why God invented the hose pipe, Carlos. You have to go out and water.
No, I just put the 2 sprinklers on and
Oh,
turn
God,
it.
you are so lazy.
Oh yeah.
There's already a discussion going on television this morning about the potential of the hose pipe ban,
No. Really?
which I find ironic, considering the number of leaks that there are in my county, in the roads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So perhaps we ought to fix those first.
Yes, Thames Water especially is quite famous for their leaks, aren't they?
And they haven't got any money.
No,
either. So yeah. Well, they're quite happy to keep taking it from us.
absolutely. Yeah, well, you don't work hard enough, Nev, you see, that's the trouble. I mean, not now, obviously. It's just like, yes. Do you remember work? I mean, I did you have, are you, like, did you actually have
quite
time to
interesting.
fit it in?
The exhibitions that I went to today, people started talking to me about, other people in the industry that I know. And it's amazing. So I've been away from it since the 7th of February. And it's now
Really not that long.
May. And I've not forgotten things, but I've certainly put them way to the back of my mind. So when someone talks about, oh, do you remember Stuart so-and-so that works at Sony? I really have to kind of think about who that was now, whereas before I wouldn't have done. So, it's amazing how quickly things leave you when you're being occupied with other things.
VMix Social is up and running, by the way, whoever would like to take care of that.
I'll do that. Lovely.
We're 2 minutes. I've popped the clock up. I've got all my... Let me just hit the save button, actually. I I need to... What do I need? Stingers, don't I? I need to hit that. There we go.
No global airlines news this week to report.
Indeed, yes. It's a shame because Andy was very hungry and looking forward to eating his hat.
I mean, High Fly operating a flight tomorrow from Glasgow to JFK.
Well, the last thing I saw was 2 fire engines squirting water over it. I thought the blasted thing had caught fire or something. So apparently that's something to do with sort of celebration.
Yes, a celebratory arrival.
Yeah,
la 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 la. Okay, right, that's that. So we are 20 seconds from clock. Just so that you know. Ten seconds from clock. 5, 4, 3,
Here we go.
2, 1. Clock. 30 seconds.
Very professional.
Oh, I've sat in a gallery or two. I know how to say all the right calls. And 15 seconds.
Oh, I think Nigel farted before he went out.
And 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Well, hello and welcome to episode 551 of the Plain Talking UK podcast. I'm Carlos, and in this week's show, Cathay Pacific apologises for serving alcohol to a 3-year-old child on a flight to London. Nothing like starting them early. London Heathrow Airport reports April 2025 being their busiest April on record. And more IT woes, but not at Heathrow for a change, but this time at Stansted Airport. Time to upgrade from those 56k modems. In the military, the US Navy allegedly loses a second FA-18 Super Hornet fighter jet from an aircraft carrier in the Red Sea. And Rolls-Royce wins a £563 million RAF Typhoon fighter jet engine contract. We also have a special prize draw this week where you can win part of a Jet 2 757-200 skin, and we'll be letting you know all the details about that later on in the show. But it's a full house this week. The team are all back together, I'm pleased to say. So kicking off this night show in the studio, pushing all the right buttons and all that kind of jazz, it's Matt Smith.
Hello, how are we? How are we all? All good?
I'm guessing it's getting warm in the studio now.
It is
Matt.
quite warm,
It's
I
that
have to
time
say.
of year.
Yes, I've popped the blind down and I've got the studio lights on, and I'm regretting that decision immensely. So if it does go a bit dark, you'll know why, because I've melted.
You'll be charging that USB fan up soon.
I will be, actually, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I can't charge it because it is a USB fan, if you see what I mean. But yeah, we'll
Plug it in.
I'll plug it in a minute.
Plug it in.
Indeed.
Excellent. And joining us from across the glorious sunshine-filled fields of Buckinghamshire, it is, of course, our resident connoisseur of all things Seat 1A and BA. It's Neville Bounds.
Yes, I've been a busy boy today. I've been into London to a couple of exhibitions. Went to the Media Production and Technology Show at Olympia, and then just around the corner, was another show I went to, which was the Museum and Heritage Show. Lots of AV stuff there as well. But of course, I'm collecting lanyards again. I thought I'd given all those up. So here we go. We have one from the Media Production and Technology Show.
Nice. I'm
going to give that a bold 8 out of 10, I think.
Very good. Why 8? Just out of curiosity.
Well, it's it's not perfect, but it's not bad.
Right, okay.
Unfortunately, Museum and Heritage Show.
Oh dear.
That's a naught, I'm afraid.
Is it? Oh, right. Not even a 1. At least they gave you a lanyard.
Well, okay, we'll give them a 1 then.
Yeah.
But no, very busy. And of course, I've been on the train for ages as well, and I'd forgotten what it was like in the rush hour. And it's, I tell you what, at times like that, it's quite nice to be retired because I'm not having to put myself through it all again.
I bet.
But, having said that, it was a very good day. Really enjoyed it. Caught up with a few mates. And just got home in time to join you on the show. So all good.
Excellent. Good to see you as always, Nev. And back this week after he's been away, what seems like ages. But it is, of course, our resident Airbus A320 captain, training sim captain, all the rest of it. He's got more names and acronyms and letters after his name than anyone we know. And he's done some flying this week. So welcome back, Andy.
No, it's only been 2 weeks. 2 weeks I've had off? Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, only 2, yeah.
Yeah.
I know, but Carlos has missed you terribly.
Oh, bless you. It's been good fun. Been out actually doing some proper work.
Oh, get you.
So what's the flying bit? Where you been? Anywhere nice, Andy?
I went down to Malaga yesterday. It's very nice. It's lovely and warm down there as well. And it was a beautiful day for flying. Perfect conditions. No turbulence. UK was basking in sunshine as across the south coast, heading back up north as well. Great.
Any problems? Did it all go very smoothly?
A few technical issues without an APU, making things a little bit more tricky, but worked our way around it. Got the job done.
So this is the thing you were saying about, like, because it's quite challenging to start an engine and stuff without that. So what is the scenario when so if you have lost an APU, how does one go about starting the engines?
There's a big wagon that gets plugged in the bottom of the aircraft that provides the air to spin the engines to start it up.
Oh, okay.
So you do that for one engine, and then you can start the second engine from the first engine. You can use the air from that engine to start the other one. So you do that once you push back. It just takes a little bit longer, and there's a few more checklists to do.
Wow.
But it's not the end of the world. It's just a faff.
So yeah, I mean, it sounds terrifying, but like essentially, it's just like we know what we're doing. Yeah, absolutely.
Very straightforward.
I'm guessing if you're downwind, Andy, and you kind of lose your APU, do you have to sort of beg and steal and borrow, or do you have things in place with the airline that you work for in where you fly to?
What, downwind? What do you mean downwind?
Yeah, when you're in other countries.
Oh, down. All right. No, that's all sorted out by the company. Yeah. They deal with all that.
Absolutely, quite right too.
So tell you what, though, I don't know what the general reliability of APUs are or is, but I've been on so many flights now where there's been an APU fault and they've had to do a start on stand. That's just me being unlucky, I don't know, but it seems to be a reasonably regular thing, doesn't it?
It's normally not the APU itself, it's normally one of the components. The thing that seems to go a lot on the 320 is the inlet flap. So it either gets stuck open or stuck closed, and then you can't use it at all then. So that's normally the main problem. And then, of course, they've got to find the parts to fix it, and they want to keep the aircraft out flying, especially this time of year as we're ramping up towards summer. And because we've got the procedures to go without it, you can do it. It's just in places the cabin can get very warm on the ground. But thankfully, as that picture I sent you guys in Malaga, they've got ground air conditioning as well that we can plug into the system and pump around, so that makes a difference.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
It's all very clever. It's these sort of things you don't. So the air conditioning unit is not using the air conditioning equipment in the plane. It's literally sort of like you're literally plugging into the air outlets, or is it just providing power?
There's
to...
No, there's a connection on the, so it's air conditioned air that comes from an air conditioning unit on the ground, big long tube. You fasten it into the underside of the aircraft, and instead of using our own air conditioning system, it just does the job for you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
That's very clever.
It's very clever.
It's very clever. Very, very clever.
What was it? An old bus you were on then, Andy?
About 13 years old. So relatively old. Not that old.
Relatively old bus, yeah. Just before we move on, Andy, how well do flight decks age? You know, when you have an old high mileage car, you tend to get the gear sticks worn, the steering wheel worn, the stuff is worn. How well do airliner flight decks wear? Around
the sort of rotary sections, the paint normally wears off on either side. But the engineers do have, and you can see when they've done it, they've got a little pot, like a little pot of Humbrol paint. Do you remember that you used to use to paint your Airfix models? They have one of them, the same colour as the panel, that sort of Airbus battleship blue colour. And just they touch it up, but they always do such a... No, they're not artists, let's put it like that, so you can clearly see where they've done it. But yeah, they touch it all up. But they do age, and it depends on the components as well, because of course as time goes on they swap out bits of panels and stuff when things break on them. So some bits look brand new, other bits look very old. But yeah, as long as it works, who cares? The worst bit about them is all of the fluff and gunk and bits of food that have collected in them over the years, because the flight decks don't get cleaned that often because the cleaners are not allowed in there.
With good reason, I think.
Yes.
There's a question in the chat room, Andy, from Bill. Says, Andy, is it a pneumatic start or electric start cart?
Pneumatic. Big old CFM 56 engines. It requires pneumatic air to start the engine, to spin it up.
Oh, there we go.
Talking on flight deck conditions, Carlos, do you remember that 747-400 that we went on? The last one ever that we went on, we got a flight deck visit on the way back from Dubai, and the scratch pad that's in the middle of the yoke, the state of that was just unbelievable, wasn't it?
That had definitely seen some mileage now.
I think the skipper said to us it lost its newness, and that would be an understatement, I think.
Yeah, lost its new car smell. Yeah,
yes.
Miss those birds. We do miss those.
The new aeroplane smell goes away, and then you get what I'd class as the Airbus musk just appears. And they all smell the same. First thing in the morning.
Well,
bit grim.
Yeah. Our just visions now of magic trees hanging from the
from the compass, from the standby compass. Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway, right. Before we move on, Nev, you've had some fun. You brought yourself a new toy.
I have, yes. Talking of new things, and it smells very new as well. A bit fed up with using the old tripods for the cameras, because although they're very lightweight, they're a bit rickety, and it's a bit difficult to do proper sort of tracking shots at air shows and that kind of stuff. So I went on the old Amazon and bought myself a brand new tripod. A picture of it is here as well, so it's a really nice one, but it's still light enough to be able to carry around and put on aircraft as well, hopefully. So I've been fiddling around with that over the last couple of days, and it's made a big difference, actually. Really, really good stuff. So with a tripod, no matter what camera you buy, it doesn't matter whether it's a DSLR or the kind of video cameras that I've got, you've always got to spend more than you think you should on the tripod. And I've learnt that over many, many years. And cameramen that I've spoken to have always said the same thing. Spend more than you really want to, because it is really worth it. And there's no question about it. If you've got a decent tripod, it makes a huge difference. It
does look very well engineered, Nev.
Yeah, it is. Very nice, actually. Yeah, they've done a good job of that. So look forward to giving that an outing, hopefully the next few weeks. So, yeah.
Excellent. Right, let's say hello to everyone who's joined us in the chat room tonight. Going to start at the top of the list. Mazus was in there very early, as always. Hello to you. Richard Adams, good evening to you. Tanya says, hi, everyone. Hello to you, Tanya. Good to see you in there. Dirk S. Wouldn't be the chat room without Dirk in there, would it? We've also got Kevin Wallander. Hello to you, Kevin. Good to see you. Darren Smith. Evening, Av Geeks and Pilots, he says. The lovely Bill is also in there. Happy Wednesday to all, he says. Thank you for that, Bill. We have got Marsha is also in there. Captain Cruz, hello to you as well. Let me scroll down the list, make sure I don't miss anyone. Richard E. Flagg, good evening to you as well. Bet he's been enjoying this weather with the photography, that's for sure. David M. So, hello, he says, yo, missed this. Well, good to have you back, David. Jonathan Warner, Mr. Warner's in there. Greetings to you as well. And let me just scroll down. Sturman, hello to you, Sturman. Good to see you in there. Garth and Neville Bounds is wielding his blue spanner of doom, keeping an eye on things in the chat room tonight. So welcome to everyone who's joined us tonight. Don't forget, if you're listening to us as an audio show, we're live every Wednesday, 7 o'clock here on YouTube. Make sure you give us a look on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. And also click that bell icon to be notified when Matt's hitting the go live button and recording new episodes like this, because we'd love to have you in the YouTube chat room. Right, loads of stuff to get through this week, loads of news, and don't forget as well, we've also got our retro airline ad of the week, where this week we're heading back to the 90s, the early 90s. So if all the team's ready, let's do some news.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
And the first one this week comes from bbc.co.uk. This one mystified me a bit when I read the headline. Not read the story yet, but plane caught fire as pilot confused left and right. The plane aborted a takeoff on Gatwick's runway after its co-pilot muddled up his left and right hands, investigators have found. The Air Accident Investigation Branch, or the AAIB, said the error resulted in the aircraft's brakes catching fire. The June 28th incident involving a BA flight to Vancouver, Canada, led to a 50-minute runway closure and 23 cancelled departures at the West Sussex Airport. A BA spokesperson said safety is always our highest priority, and our pilots brought the aircraft to a safe stop. All 13 crew and 334 passengers were on board during the accident, according to the AAIB. And investigators said the co-pilot unintentionally moved a lever to his left when he was supposed to move a lever to his right instead. Andy, I can't wait for your feedback on this. This reduced the 777 aircraft's thrust at a time when the aircraft's commander called for the plane to start pulling up, they said. According to the investigation findings, the co-pilot momentarily sped up again before abandoning takeoff. The aircraft stopped some distance before the end of the runway, but the airport firefighting crews were called out to put a fire on the right-hand side landing gear. There were no injuries reported, and the IOB said that BA and the analysis of the event showed the morning was otherwise unremarkable. There were no obvious distractions or workload problems prior to the fire. The co-pilot had over 6,000 hours of flying experience, expressed surprise over the mistake, and could not identify a reason for it, according to the report. He last flew 2 weeks before the incident, and then BA had issued a safety notice reminding pilots to pause before execution and
Cognitively.
Thank you, Nev. Consider what the required action is. 4 days before the accident or incident, the AIB said, and the agency that the airline had included misselections in a new safety topics section of the pre-flight briefing material for crew and was promoting focus during regular simulator training for pilots. So, did he put power on when they were, or take power off, put power on when they were?
Yeah. So this whole bit about levers, that's bad reporting. So let's go back to the start. In some airlines, when you set takeoff thrust as first officer, you then take your hand off the thrust levers, because the only person who can call for a stop before V1 is the captain, so they put their hands on the thrust levers. And in BA, either pilot can. So the first officer's got his left hand on the thrust levers and his right hand on the control column. So what he should have done, obviously, when the captain called rotate, his hand should have already been off the thrust levers anyway. When V1 call comes, that's it, you take your hand off. But maybe both speeds came exactly, so maybe on V1 rotate. And he has, instead of pulling back with his right hand, he's pulled back with his left hand. Why? He doesn't know. This is sometimes seen with people who are qualified in both seats, like trainers, where we have to remember which hand's doing what. which can get a bit confusing. But they did the right thing. So he put the thrust levers back forward to begin with, and then they decided to call stop, which in my opinion was the right thing to do. They'd already chopped the power, so you've lost the thrust, so just bin it there and then. The brake fire, yeah, not the best thing to happen, but the aircraft must have been pretty heavy. There's a lot of energy to dissipate through the brakes, and the reversers take a bit of it away, but most of the energy is dissipated through the brake system. So a very odd one, but at least they did the right thing. And a brake fire, that can be quickly put out. That's not the end of the world.
Oh, ouch. So
It's
what do you
it's a
think?
big thing, isn't it? The whole cognitive stuff. It's a massive subject. And I remember flying the A320 sim with you and Matt. And although I'm hardly qualified on the type, even I was doing ridiculous things at one point where I'm sure either you or Matt said to me, "Oh, Nev, I think you'll need to go flaps 3 now." And I knew that I had to do that, but I went for the landing gear lever. And it's in a completely different position, but because I was thinking about gear down, but I wasn't actually thinking about the next flap speed, my brain is ahead of where I should be. And that, I would imagine, can happen a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Misselections and slips, as we call them, are a very, very frequent thing. At the end of the day, 80% of incidents and accidents now at modern aircraft are so reliable, so automated. We are the weakest link, the human error, and we're always the one that causes the problem, really, these days. It's really easy. There's many times I've gone to select something and had to stop myself as I've reached for it, and my brain's going, "Your hand's going the wrong way, Andy." You have to stop and go, what am I actually trying to do here? And that's also what that message is sort of trying to say to the crews, to cognitively consider. So stop for a second and make sure, is this the thing I want to do? But yeah, it'll continue to happen, unfortunately, because the human is the weak link.
Wow. Is this something that's included in the sim training as well, Andy? Sort of the process?
To a degree, yeah. It's more about the pilot monitoring side, watching other people make mistakes and making sure that you catch them, because that's why there's 2 of you there. There's one of you to fly the airplane, and the other one to monitor the person flying it. So it's mainly aimed at that in the simulator at the moment, because it's quite difficult to force somebody into an error, especially in a simulator where your senses are a lot more heightened as well, because you know you're in there for training. It's not a normal day out on the line where you can sort of lapse into a false sense of security of, it's just a normal day out, especially when you do 20 flights a week and you're on day 5 doing the last sector. It's very easy to have these slips.
Wow. But no one was injured. That's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Matt, you've got the next story. And Matt, when was the first time you had an alcoholic beverage?
Do you really want to know?
Were you like me with your grandparents giving you sherry when you were like 3 or 4 years old?
No, it's not. It was offered to me, but believe it or not, the first time that I ever had a drink and got drunk was on my 18th birthday.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
No, I don't believe that.
No, my choice. 100% my choice. It was very much offered to me a lot when I was growing up. I won't say at 3, but yeah. So weirdly, my choice on that one. And I never really have been a big drinker. It's what made me a good coach driver, I think. Anyway,
no white lightning when you were young, then.
No. I have tried. Weirdly, as I say, I've really got into ciders and stuff now. Anyway, we digress slightly. The source that we always go to for quality aviation content, of course, is the Daily Express, and the headline is that a major airline apologises for serving alcohol to a child aged 3 on a flight to London. A major international airline has issued a formal apology after a 3-year-old was mistakenly served white wine instead of water aboard a Cathay Pacific flight to London. The incident occurred on the 24th of April during flight Charlie X-Ray 255 from Hong Kong to London, with the young boy seated in business class alongside his parents. According to the boy's mother, surnamed Wong, the mix-up was only discovered when the child complained that his water tasted sour. prompting his parents to take a sip and realise that he had been served alcohol. Wong, who later shared the story on Chinese social media platform Rednote, told the South China Morning Post that Cathay Pacific had failed to fully explain how the mistake happened, or what happened, or what steps were being taken to prevent it from happening again. During the whole process, there was a lack of care for my son, she said. They gave me the impression that they were trying to shirk responsibility. While the boy showed no immediate symptoms and the parents have not sought medical treatment, they say remain concerned about possible long-term health effects. Cathay has since offered to refund the child's ticket, provide 3 first-class upgrade vouchers and cover the cost of any medical checks. In a statement, Cathay Pacific spokesperson said that the airline sincerely apologises for the incident and confirmed that a full internal review has taken place. We take this matter very seriously. The spokesperson said that we have implemented appropriate follow-up actions and continue to support the family. The spokesperson added the cabin crew acted promptly, paging onboard medical personnel and consulting with a ground-based medical advisory service. A French doctor who happened to be on the flight assessed the child and said that he would be fine, even remarking that children in his country as young as 5 were permitted to drink alcohol, a comment that did little to reassure the concerned parents. Cathay's email response to the family stated that immediate coaching had been provided to the flight crew and internal measures, including notifying the pilot, had been taken. Now, I don't know if I dare say this out loud. Is this all a bit of a massive explosion of?
I
mean, it's just like all. This is awful, and I don't mean to cause offence by this, but I can't help that by reading this story, Mummy and Daddy have just seen pound signs and lots of money.
Yeah, I mean, unless this young lad had necked the entire glass of wine,
yeah, absolutely,
got Larry, started wanting pub snacks,
yeah, absolutely, yes, he suddenly had a craving for port scratchings, and nobody could understand why. Yeah,
seriously, what is this?
I know.
And then I do love the comment from the French doctor. Children as young as 5 in France can
absolutely.
have wine. What's your problem?
Yeah, indeed.
This is a mass. I mean, it says that at the bottom, including notifying the pilot. If cabin crew came and told me, I'd be like, all right, okay.
Okay, thanks for playing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've noted it in the log.
Yeah, it's just like, this is a non... I mean, seriously, why would you go to the press with something like this?
Money. That's all I can see. Somebody is wanting... I sort of... at the end of the day, a complaint is a complaint is a complaint. So if somebody has officially made a complaint, then you have to follow the right protocols, regardless of how potentially ridiculous the complaint is. I get that. I work in an industry that is plagued with complaints. It's constantly. Richard Adams' comment is particularly amusing me. Is long-term effects. Child went to sleep without whinging. Perhaps indeed. I mean, I see that as a bonus. Darren Smith is saying that at least the child will sleep well and not scream their head off. Absolutely, I agree with you there on Darren. I don't know. I mean, I guess we should. I guess we should sort of take it slightly seriously. Durkes says children usually turn water into wine. WHINE. See what we did there. Very good. Yeah, I don't know. I get the parents' concerns, but I think their motivation is elsewhere, shall we say?
Just looking at the statement that Cathay have come up with, and they have offered to refund the child's ticket, provide 3 first-class upgrade vouchers, and cover the cost of any medical checks. That is a massive...
That is a huge payout in my book.
Over compensation for what's gone on here. I think now I can see there are cultural differences around the world.
Yeah.
With regard to these sorts of things, but honestly, I think that's a bit much, don't you?
The problem is they've admitted liability now, so by offering that, so these parents might now be after a lot more.
Well, I'm just waiting for when I take my grandchildren on a flight, and the 2-year-old asks for a large Pinot Grigio, Grandad. where's it going to end?
You see, the trouble is I know that Grandad will probably let them have at least a sip, just because.
Yeah.
This is the thing. This is like we obviously this is the bit that's rubbing me up the wrong way a bit, because I remember when I first had my a sip of wine, and my reaction was like, oh God, no! Like, ugh, what is this? I mean, it's especially when you're younger, isn't it? Your tastes, are perhaps not as well refined as they should be at that, age, and you're drinking it because it's.
Well, they
alcohol.
should have given him a lager then, shouldn't they?
Well,
That would have been
quite.
much easier for him to drink.
Got bubbles in it and everything.
Exactly.
I think my first taste of alcohol was probably when I was about 10.
Oh, okay. Ooh, you rebel.
We used to have a bottle of Spanish Sauterne at for our, not just that for our Sunday lunch.
Oh, right,
To
okay.
accompany the roast lamb, and I was allowed to slug a few glasses of that. But of course, it was really sweet, and to drink that now would just be like a horrible thing
you
to
wouldn't
do
like that at all, would you?
as your palate changes over the years. But perhaps I should have asked my parents for compensation.
Yeah.
Well, the first time I had alcohol, I was found behind the couch dipping my dummy in a bottle of peach schnapps that I'd found in the cupboard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
bet you slept really well for that. Best night's
I did,
sleep Mum
yeah.
and Dad ever had. Yeah.
The bottle was nearly empty as well. They were very concerned. Then my dad came home and he went, "Oh yeah, there was very little left in that bottle."
Love that. Awesome. My story's suddenly really rubbish.
Darren Smith
Far too
says
sensitive.
he had baby sham with his first.
Yeah.
Baby
There we go.
sham.
I
Yes.
suppose it makes sense why I've built a pub in my back garden now if I've been drinking that long, doesn't it?
Well, yes, fair. Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah. Baby sham, the drink that I only just learnt about. Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Oh, Mark Priestley says, Dad's homebrew. I'll
ill for
for
days.
days.
ill for taste.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I imagine. Yeah. Love that. Anyway,
Right.
always drink responsibly, of course, is
Drink
the advice,
responsibly,
as
exactly.
always. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If you need any advice,
Don't
speak to Andy.
ask Andy. Don't ask.
Right, Mr. Bounds, you've got the next story, and I honestly, we read these stories so often now. I don't know how the queues are ever going to get any less.
Yes, because IAG, British Airways owners, got the checkbook out, which is good to see. It's on airlive.net. IAG, who owns British Airways, Iberia, Aer Lingus and Level, has ordered a total of 71 aircraft from Airbus and Boeing to strengthen its fleet. The group also received an option right for additional aircraft. Within the scope of the order, 21 A330-900s were ordered from Airbus, and an option right for 13 aircraft was also received in addition to this model. The A330-900s are planned to join the Aer Lingus, Iberia or Level fleets. There's going to be 6 A350-900s, which were also ordered for Iberia, whilst 6 A350-1000s will be purchased for use in the British Airways fleet. On the Boeing side of things, 32 787-10s were ordered for British Airways. In addition to these aircraft, an option right for 10 aircraft was defined. IAG has also ordered 6 long-range and high-capacity Boeing 777-9 aircraft for the British Airways fleet. So I wonder if some of those 787-10s are to replace some of the ageing 777s that they've got. But whichever way you look at it, I hope these folks aren't in a rush, because the backlogs at Boeing and less so at Airbus are quite substantial at the moment.
Yeah, years.
So I don't know when they're going to be receiving these aircraft. We've got Michael O'Leary kicking off again with Boeing's delays on his aircraft. So yeah, it's a finite problem, isn't it? That there's finite manufacturing capacity, and all it takes is a strike or component shortages that we had a couple of years ago, and it's just a big knock-on effect, isn't it?
A comment in the chat room, Nev. I don't know if you want to take that one.
Richard Flagg says, I wonder if BA will look at changing the livery as now as well. New aircraft, new livery. The Chatham Dockyard livery is getting a bit tired, in my view. That's a reasonable point. Yeah, I think that's been around for a while. Could we go back to Landor, perhaps? I know we can't, but I'd like to. But it's a bit of a problem where you've got. I mean, there are other aircraft manufacturers, obviously, but clearly, the big stuff is going to come from Airbus and Boeing.
Yeah, well, it's a good job that these will be spread out over several years, because this is hundreds of. If these aren't for replacements, it's hundreds of crew you've got to recruit as well.
Yep.
And there aren't hundreds of pilots, especially pilots. There aren't hundreds of them lying around at the moment. But good to see. I believe the Boeing order as well was part of the whole UK trade deal as well. It was announced last week.
Ah, was it? Okay.
Yeah, it came as part of that, which is good for us, getting a better deal. But yeah,
more shortages. Andy, you got the
Yes.
next one? Moving over to Stansted.
Yes, this is from the bbc.co.uk. Long queues at airport as IT issue causes delays. Queues of passengers stretched outside an airport's terminal early on Sunday as an IT issue caused delays. A post on X by London Stansted Airport at 6:20 in the morning said due to an ongoing IT issue, a number of airport systems have been affected, including check-in, baggage and security. I'd say that's all of the systems, really. The issue has now been resolved, but some arrivals and departures may be subject to delays, it continued. One passenger, who did not wish to be named, said she'd been stuck in queues at the terminal for hours and had missed her flight. She said she arrived at the Essex airport at 4:45 a.m. and passengers were queuing out of the door. I spoke to one woman who has already been standing for an hour and we were getting nowhere near the entrance, she said. The queue for security was out of the door and around the corner. The woman from Chelmsford said she left after waiting more than 2 hours as her flight to Greece was boarding and she was told it would take off without the rest of the passengers. In its post, the airport added, engineers are working hard to fully restore all systems as soon as possible. It updated the post again at 10:41 to say departing flights may still experience delays despite the issue being resolved, and the airport has apologised to passengers and advised them to stay in touch with their airlines. Well, at least it's not Heathrow this time, it's a different one.
Yes.
Yeah, slightly less people.
Yeah.
Only a few 100,000 upset.
But we so heavily rely on IT infrastructure now, these things invariably happen.
Things have gone a bit mad in the IT world recently, Matt. All I keep seeing on the news is hacks and IT this and
Yeah, the hacks thing is a bit of a worry, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
a couple, I guess one can never fully make your system resilient, if you like, to sort of attacks. I mean, there have been a couple of big ones, hasn't there? M&S, to name one, for example, where apparently no super sensitive data. Essentially, the only data that was retrieved, that wasn't much use to people, but nevertheless, some data had been retrieved from said servers and stuff. I just think there's a lot more of it going on. I think that's it's the weaknesses are being identified, perhaps just because I don't know. It's a funny one. I'm not saying that this is related to it, but I guess it was just an outage. But Nev, you and I have spoken many a time about the thing that disturbs me on all of this is the apparent complete lack of redundancy in IT systems, so that if something goes wrong, you can switch to a backup or something like that. I mean,
there are redundancy systems in place, power supplies, and uninterruptible power supplies and that kind of stuff. But when it's a network issue, that, by the very nature of that, everything is connected to it, and there might be a backup redundancy network as well. But the trouble is, you don't know. You can't predict when these things are going to happen, and to fix these things quickly, especially now we're coming into the really busy, season for all the airlines. If you have a big moment, to fix something quickly is just really difficult, because you need to try and find out what the source of the problem is, and if you have to shut things down as well, like that when they evacuated the airports the other day at Heathrow, and they chopped everything on that Friday because they didn't quite know what they were dealing with, then it's it's going to be a thing we're going to see more of potentially. I would say.
And actually, in terms of issue, many may disagree with me, but actually, given my experience of working in IT for a number of years, actually, an outage of 4 hours and 20 minutes is a pretty quick turnaround. Actually, to have everything back to A1, I think that's impressive going. To get systems back up and running in what I think is a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, and I don't want to sort of alarm people, but if you look what's happened to the recent situations in the UK with the retailers, so the Co-op and Marks and Spencer. Now, this is obviously major inconvenience, loss of revenue, all sorts of things like that. You start adding that into the airline or transport operations or infrastructure. I'm not saying it could necessarily affect safety systems, but there's going to be things going on that have not been seen before potentially, and I think that's the thing. It's the unknowns that's the real concern here.
And long may aircraft not be part of a network. Other than because you still have to put. I mean, there's somewhere you have to literally put in an old school magnetic floppy disk to do updates. I mean, long may that continue, frankly, because if it's not there to be interfered with, it can't be interfered with. It's they have started doing like USB sticks and stuff now, Andy, haven't they? For like updates and stuff like that.
Yeah, the floppy disk is thankfully gone.
Yeah.
But now it's via a data loading port. It's not USB.
Okay.
It's like a 5-pin port thing, which is still secure-ish.
Yeah. I mean, do you think there'll ever be a scenario where, they are interconnected? I mean, they're interconnected in terms of in-flight entertainment systems, but frankly, if that gets hacked, it's not the end of the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think there'll ever be a time when
system as well?
Yeah. Indeed, but also, I mean, yes and no, because potentially, because a lot of these systems, some of these systems now, you can access the films via your tablet or whatever. So it is accessible if you like from that. But do you think we'll ever see a time where updates and stuff, if you like, are being remotely pumped into the aircraft without somebody physically doing? I mean, every fibre of my being is screaming, I hope that's never the case.
I hope not. There are other systems on board that can be communicated with the outside world via SATCOM and VHF link. Again, you're going to have to put in a lot of work to hack that sort of thing. But the actual ARINC infrastructure of the aircraft on a fly-by-wire aircraft is completely isolated by itself, and that's the way it'll stay, I think.
Good.
There we go. Right, moving on to another story that has spent most of this week lingering around the news feeds. It's bbc.co.uk, and White House and Qatar discuss the transfer of luxury jet for Air Force One. I know. The government-owned Qatar Emiri flight company's Boeing 747-8 is similar to one said to be in discussions to be transferred to US President Donald Trump. The White House is in discussions with the royal family of Qatar to possibly receive a luxury jumbo jet intended for use as an Air Force One presidential plane. In a statement, Qatar denied the aircraft would be a gift, but said the transfer of an aircraft for temporary use was under discussion between the two countries. According to CBS News, the BBC News partner in America, the plane will be donated to Trump's presidential library at the end of its term. The news comes as Trump is set to visit Qatar, which I think he has. He's already there, isn't he? As part of the first major foreign trip of his second term. Sources told CBS News the aircraft would not be ready for use right away, as it will need to be retrofitted and cleared by security officials. The potential value of the plane and its handling is sure to raise legal and ethical questions among critics. On Sunday, the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said any gift given by a foreign government is always accepted in full compliance with applicable laws. President Trump's administration is committed to full transparency. Defending negotiations with Qatar, Trump referred to the plane as a gift and said it was offered for his use at no cost in a post on his Truth Social website on Sunday. So the fact that the Defense Department is getting a gift free of charge of a 747 aircraft to replace the 40-year-old Air Force One, temporarily in a very public and transparent transaction. So bothers the crooked Democrats that they insist they pay top dollar for the plane, he wrote in his message. So the White House currently fleet includes two 747-200B planes, customized for presidential use with some special communications equipment, as we all know, with features like staterooms, offices, conference rooms, according to the US Air Force. The aircraft in question have been in use since 1990 and 1991. Qatar is said to be offering a version of the 747-8, a much newer model that ABC News reports has been upgraded into a flying palace. And the plane maker said that the aircraft would not be available until 2027 or 28, and that's for the new 747-8s that Trump initialized during his first tenancy in office. But there we go. It's been big news this week. It's been everyone's moaning about this, that, and the other. I don't know. What do you think, guys?
Well, I mean, for a start, he's not just going to take a standard 747-8, is he? I mean, the amount of modification required to turn it into an Air Force One style specification is absolutely massive. I'm probably can do it quicker than they could build a new aircraft for them, but nonetheless, that's a massive amount of work to do that, isn't it? I'm not sure how much of it can be retrofitted or whether it has to be built in from the beginning of the manufacture of the aircraft.
The big question for me is why? The current two aircraft have been flying for 35 years. They don't have that many hours on them between them, the airframes. This is a huge vanity thing. I'm trying to not get political here, but Trump loves his gold and niceness and all that. It's all a vanity project from a country that he said he would never do deals with because they funded X, Y, and Z. But now suddenly they're offering an airplane free of charge. He's like, oh, yeah, all right, no problem. Yeah, let's do all the deals and everything. It stinks, the whole thing, and there's just no need for it.
Yeah, there's. I must admit, I've. So trying very careful, not because I appreciate that.
Not getting political.
No, indeed, it's the thing. There's been quite a lot of tweets floating about. Shall we say tweets? Not supposed to use that term anymore, is
X's?
it? What
they?
do we call them now? I don't know.
X's?
Like posts. There's been a lot of posts going around saying that there's a lot of things about this deal that are highly questionable, and I mean,
it's not a deal; it's a bribe.
That was the word I was desperately trying to avoid, if I'm honest with you, Andy. But
well, it is.
My thing with this is, though, as you quite rightly pointed out, Andy, the existing Air Force planes that are currently in situ and functioning, they aren't doing the mileage that your average 747 will have done in its lifetime. So there is a good, strong possibility. There's no reason why they couldn't go on for another at least 10 years, maybe even 15 years in their current juncture. Is the reason why they're wanting to update it, if you like, more to do with comm systems and, sort of, I don't know, safety
tech
systems and tech and things like that? Because as you're saying, I guess some things can't be retro upgraded and fitted.
Yeah, and it will have been upgraded throughout its lifetime because it does spend... Well, at the moment, all it does is take Trump to play golf at the weekend and back. So during the week, it's got plenty of downtime to have modifications made, etc. And they wouldn't fly it now if it wasn't up to standard to keep the president safe.
Well, and let's be, the president of the United States is not going to be flown around in an aircraft that they have concerns about, is that at the end of the day?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, again, I stand by my original comments.
Okay. Excellent.
Well, Tony Blair was flying in a British Midland A320 that I was on. And if it's good enough for me and good enough for him,
I mean, very much the other way around, Ev. If it's good enough for you, then it's good enough for Tony Blair. That's what I would say. Absolutely.
Exactly.
What was Boris's plane? What was that one called? There was a lot of hoo-ha with that, wasn't it?
Well,
and I'm certainly not going to pop up a picture of it. after
Oh,
what?
good Lord, no.
That's a three. Boris's plane is a 321 operated by Titan. I don't know what they've done with that contract or anything now, but I don't know if they've still got it or if they're back to using Voyager 330s for government stuff. It was a sort of similar thing. I've got Boris did it on a littler scale.
Oh dear. Okay. Somebody get us out of this very dangerous.
Right, let's move on
cul-de-sac
to the
we're
next
in,
story.
please.
And we're obviously always talking about the posh seats on aircraft, and obviously Nev is well attuned to seat 1A. But Matt, your next story covers the seats that most of us can, comfortably afford.
I mean, yeah, sure, why not? Let's go with this. It's bristolpost.co.uk is the source for this one, and the headline is "The 5 airlines with the biggest economy class luggage allowances, and BA didn't even make the list." There you go. If you overpack your summer holiday or plan to do a lot of shopping when you're away, knowing which airline to book it with is absolutely key. This is especially true if you're planning on checking in a bag, as some airlines offer larger allowances than others. For those who like to bring a large suitcase, the Travel Republic team has revealed the airlines with the most generous luggage allowance. Surprisingly, British Airways doesn't make the cut. The standard checked baggage allowance for most airlines sits at around 23 kilograms for economy class passengers. However, there are some exceptions due to regional policies, generous baggage rules, or specific routes. Travel Republic has identified all the airlines that allow more than the standard limit, and Emirates has come out on top. I know that because I was quite shocked about it. I filled my suitcase so much, filled it up so much that
you didn't even get nowhere near
that
it.
I could I know I'm a bit weak at the moment and all that kind of thing, but I could barely lift it. Like if my suitcase hadn't got wheels, I was in trouble, and I put it on the scales expecting them to tell me to throw stuff out and all this kind of thing. And I went, "Yeah, that's fine, sir," and off it went. It was amazing. With popular day, start again. Looking forward to a 30 kilogram luggage allowance, economy, saver, flex, and flex plus fares. With popular destinations from UK airports to Dubai, Bangkok, and Sydney, you can embark on that long haul journey knowing that you've got ample room for all your essentials and then some. Etihad takes second place, also offering a 30 kilogram limit, with destinations like Abu Dhabi and Bangkok. Holidaymakers can pack to their heart's content with the extra 7 kilograms. Oh, okay. Hang on. They're both 30 kilograms. So why is Emirates in front? What have I missed?
Then the 23 that normal airlines offer. Extra
Yes,
7.
but if Etihad... Oh, okay. All right, fine. They're all offering 30. Yeah, fair. Keep reading the story, Smith. However, it's worth noting this limit applies to economy value and economy flex fares and not economy deal tickets. If you're jetting off to locales like Doha, Bali or Bangkok, Qatar Airways has got your luggage needs covered with a continuous, noting a theme here, a generous 30 kilograms checked baggage allowance for those flying economy classic and also above. For travellers heading from the UK to Asia and Australia with Singapore Airlines, there's good news as both economy standard and economy flex come with a 30 kilogram allowance. This is particularly handy for those planning active or family holidays, giving ample room for that sports equipment or extra gear. Turkish Airline passengers can enjoy 30 kilograms baggage allowance with economy class for numerous long-haul flights, particularly to destinations across Asia, Africa and the Middle East. The airline also allows for multiple lighter bags instead of one piece for those who don't like bringing a big suitcase. There's a lot of sense to be said for that. The travel team at Travel Republic said it's important to always double check the baggage allowance for your route, as there can be exceptions. For example, most flights to the United States are still only 23 kilograms. We'd recommend aiming to have your luggage slightly lower than the maximum allowance. This allows extra peace of mind and means you have space for souvenirs and any shopping that you might want to do on your trip. And I know a lot of people in this room here have a very useful little set of scales that they use, don't they, to check weight of their goodies before you're sort of branching out.
So apart from Turkish Airlines, these are all big Middle East carriers that offer this 30 kilo of luggage. But I mean, to be fair, all the long haul flying that I've done, which has been with BA or other American airlines as well, and it's been 23 kilos. I've struggled to even get 23 kilos of weight into a suitcase. I mean, I've probably managed, I don't know, 16 or 17 kilos, and that's a fairly full case full of stuff.
I was about to say that when I was working. So if I go away to Barcelona for a week for work, and I'm taking suits and shoes and goodness knows what else, obviously checking the bag in. But yeah, I've never been over 16 or 17 kilos, I don't think, in all that time. So, yeah.
Yeah. But the other thing as well, what we all must remember is having a 30 kilo limit is fantastic. But as a baggage handler working on the ground, it must be flipping awful lifting that weight. Because 30 kilo deadlift is quite a substantial lift when you're doing it all day, hour in, hour out.
Yeah, it's just over a bag of cement. Imagine throwing bags of cement constantly onto belts.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, and I'm the same. I've never topped 20 kilos when traveling, even going away somewhere for a week or two. Even when I went to live in New Zealand for a year, and I think we had, I think it was nearly 40 kilos, because I was flying Emirates, not economy. I still couldn't fill that.
Yeah, indeed.
Just reading Rich Adams' comment in the chat room says, bet it's over 23 kilos when you bring back with various bits of aircraft in it, Carlos. Yeah.
Yes,
Are those bits of aircraft you've pulled off as you've climbed
more
off
than
the
likely,
aircraft?
yes.
That's why you look back at the aircraft, isn't it? When you're getting off the aircraft, sometimes you go, is there anything I can, perhaps just...
That's why I have to do a walk around every sector to make sure people like Carlos haven't taken souvenirs.
Never let me on your flight deck, Andy. Oh, dear. Yes. Some quite nice additions that would be to my... God, can you imagine if I ever got let loose in that the boneyard? Is it in Arizona, wherever that is? The boneyard there? Blimey.
I think it would cost you a lot of money in excess baggage charges.
Yeah, I do as well.
I really do wonder why that APU was unserviceable the other day, Andy, as well. That's,
I don't.
highly suspicious.
You're right there with that APU? Yeah.
Where Carlos turns around and he's got a big flap inlet piece. Look what I got the other day.
Honestly, you lot, you're so mean. Anyway, Nev, we're moving to an airport that you know all too well.
Yes, although I've not been to it since February, but I'm going in June to Amsterdam for a couple of days with Sue. On the bbc.co.uk, it says that Heathrow Airport said last month was its busiest April on record, with nearly 7.1 million passengers being served. The number of people using the hub was 5.9% higher than April last year, although the figures were partially driven by the timing of Easter this year. The West London Airport also reported that it had the highest departure punctuality out of the major European hubs, with 99% of bags on the planned flights and 97% of passengers clearing security in under 5 minutes. Chief Executive Thomas Waldby said last month showed Heathrow at its very best. We successfully navigated our busiest April ever, whilst our service levels took a further leap forward. He said that work was already underway across the airport ahead of the busy summer ahead. We're providing great value for our passengers. Not sure about that statement. And I'm proud of what we've achieved in collaboration with our Team Heathrow partners so far this year, he added. Some airlines which use Heathrow have branded the airport the most expensive in the world for passenger charges. And they're not wrong, I don't think. On the 21st of March, the airport was also shut down for most of the day, as we mentioned earlier, because of a substation fire affecting some 200,000 passengers. Last week, an interim report by the National Energy System Operator said that the cause of the blaze was still unknown, but found power had been restored to the airport's terminals 7 hours before flights resumed. Following the release of the report, Heathrow Airport said it had raised important questions, such as how the fire had started. Oh dear. Some of the statements that come out from the press teams are just comical, aren't they?
It's a good sign, though. It's a good sign, because Easter was April this year, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So that means a good summer at Heathrow, if that's possible.
Yes, exactly. And of course, I think the other thing is that sometimes you find that when the economic situation isn't great for whatever reason, people go on holiday to cheer themselves up and they put it on the credit card. So that there's often a case where even if the country's teetering on a recession, I'm not saying that we are, but when that's happened before, we've seen airline passenger numbers go up very high because people want to get away and, just forget about it for a week. So
it actually helps stop the recession as well.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Doing that. So it's a funny old mix of how it works. But yeah, every time there's a downturn coming, holidays, the amount of people going on holidays goes through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyway, well, that's some good news. Although I must say that the costs, the passenger handling costs, I wonder what the landing charges are for your average, A321 or something like that. Must be substantial.
A few quid.
I dread to think.
Yeah. And also all the ground handling costs as well. So but it is the country's biggest airport, it needs to work. That's for sure.
There's a lot of Toblerones, that's for sure.
Aye, it is.
Andy, you've got the next one, and
yes.
This is one issue I doubt whether you ever have.
Sometimes when I go away, as I did last week in Alicante, my bag came off at different times at both ends, and I checked in at around the same time. So let's see what belfastlive.co.uk has to say about this. So the story is, here's how to ensure your luggage is first off the plane. Travellers can often be tinged with the stress of airport security and stringent luggage policies, with the worry of losing your luggage always on your mind. That sinking feeling persists for many until our bags finally turn up on the carousel, and that's without the vigilance needed to make sure they aren't snatched up by mistake by another passenger. Yet, a straightforward strategy has surfaced that could mean your luggage is among the first off the aircraft, allowing you to dive into your holiday without delay. By checking in later, your bags are likely packed onto the aircraft last, increasing the chance that they will arrive first at your destination, according to Thomas Lasciuto, an airport ramp worker and gate agent. Thomas explained, your best option is to be one of the last passengers to check your bags. This is because bags will always be loaded front to back on the bag carts. But it's not always necessarily about the timing. The packing method also matters. For travellers anxious about checking in too late, Smarter Travel shared with HuffPost that, for example, Delta, operating from Terminal 3 at London Heathrow, separates checked luggage by size for weight distribution, offering another approach to consider. When you drop off your luggage at check-in, it gets sorted into cans or large containers that can hold multiple bags and be transported as one unit. Smart Traveller explains, in other words, how far back your bag ends up depends on the weight of the can and the needs of the aircraft when you check it in. Single-aisle aircraft typically loose-load baggage individually, unlike their wider counterparts that use cans. In such cases, checked luggage is placed in a holding area. The bags are then taken to the aircraft and loaded shortly before departure, meaning the order of loading may hinge on the check-in time. An earlier check-in could result in your bag being placed at the rear of the storage area, which might make it the last to be loaded onto the aircraft, but possible the first to come off. Another tip many people try to get their luggage off the carousel quickly upon arrival is to mark it as fragile. According to news.com.au, this clever tactic often results in your baggage being put on the plane last and therefore unloaded first, potentially reducing your weight at the carousel. However, if using fragile labels, it's important to remove any old tags from your luggage to prevent mix-ups. To easily identify your bags, opt for bright colours, personalised tags, or distinctive ribbons tied securely around them. Or, go business off first, you get a priority tag and your bag comes off first.
Yes, Nev.
But basically that story is your bag could end up anywhere in the aircraft. And it is true about what they call them, cans. Is that what they call them? That's very American. You've got the ULD containers that they stuff them all in. And they do have to balance the weight and load of them for the distribution. But yeah, checking in too late, be a bit wary with that one.
Yeah. And the BA tactic of when I was flying with one of my colleagues last year, they forced him to check in a quite a small wheelie bag because he was boarding group 4 or 5, and they said, well, the thing is, if you check it in, Mr. Hinton, you'll be first off the aircraft. No,
Right.
it was the last off the aircraft.
Of course it was. Of course
Obviously.
it was.
So there we are.
Oh, there's a comment there, Carlos, for your question from earlier on from Darren.
A320 landing fee at London Heathrow is £3,500
Yes.
pounds.
There you go.
£3,500.
Mind the takeoff is free though. It's only the landing you pay for.
Blimey.
It'll be based on max landing weight as well.
Yeah, so that's an A320. So imagine what a 747-8 or an A380 is.
Mad.
And he's a random fact for you. Airlines, even though take the A320, its max landing weight, a CEO 66 ton or 66.3 for a Neo, they can actually get the aircraft certified to lower weights, so that they have to pay less landing fees and less airway charges as well, and they can recertify an aircraft on a turnaround if they want to save money.
Ooh.
There we go. You heard it here first. See, that's why we have you on the show, Andy.
Random snippets of information.
But they're good. It's all good. It's all good. Right. So, moving on to the next story. And at the end of this, it's your chance to win something. So, yeah. Anyway, so this is from vulture.com. And it's all about the 12 turbulent airplane thrillers to stream right now on your telly box. It's a rundown of aviation kind of or films and series that are either on telly, have been on telly. And it'll be interesting to see the group here as our team, how many of these we've all seen. So we'll kick off with the first on the list, which is Airport 77. Quite an old one, this one. I think there's a few of these they done. But yeah, 1977. I was literally not very old when this came out. But you can see that on Netflix, that's on. But it's a good program. You seen that one, Andy? Airport 77. It's quite a... I mean, you're young. You're young. You're still young. Andy.
I wasn't even around in 77. I haven't watched that one yet, but I see it's on Netflix, so I will. Have you watched that one, Matt?
God, no.
So, Passenger
I'm
57.
I'm still depressed at the fact that Andy is too young to know
He's too
airports.
young, I know.
Oh, what
Yes,
what happened? We were young once, Carlos.
Oh, God, yeah, that's before I went grey.
Oh,
Let's not have a breakdown on air, chaps. What's the next on the list?
Passenger 57, Wesley Snipes. One of my personal favourite films because it features a certain aircraft. But yeah, this is still available to watch on Prime Video. You can watch this on, plus a few other ones.
What was that?
But yeah,
So what was that again?
Passenger 57, starring Wesley Snipes.
Him what did Blade?
He did do Blade, yeah. It did do Blade. This is a hijacking one. I don't know whether you've seen this one or not. It's good. Have you seen that one, Andy? Is that one of your viewings that you've seen? This one? No?
Nope, I haven't watched that one yet.
No, my word, Nev, you must have seen Passenger 57.
Yeah, I think I did see it actually. Yeah. Yes, now it's coming back to me. Yes, I have seen it. Yeah.
We've got Executive Decision. This was released back in 1996, and this This is. I think this,
Let me guess. Andy still wasn't born.
This is.
Oh no, I was 11 then, and I've seen this several times. Great film.
Kurt Russell was in this, and
wow.
I think, I mean, we'll all know that who the other person was in this film, but Steven Seagal was in this, and he literally had about a 10-minute piece
Did he?
in the film.
What we'd call that a cameo these days, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was quite an interesting one, executive decision. Con Air, and I must admit, I've only seen this once. I really need to watch Con Air again because it's such a good film.
Good film.
That was released back in 1997. Another one, which was Harrison Ford, this one, isn't it? Was it Harrison Ford?
Yep.
Yeah, it was Harrison
Great
Ford,
film
yeah.
as well.
Air Force One.
Oh, I've seen that
released
one.
back in 1997.
Brilliant film, that is.
Very good film. Very good film.
Gary
that,
Oldman.
I could say, isn't that where they push Gary Oldman out of the back of the plane finally?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
one?
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I have seen
great.
that one. Yeah.
No need to watch it now for people out there.
Yeah.
No spoiler at all.
Sorry about that. I was more excited that I'd actually seen one of the films Carlos was talking about. I got a bit carried away. I apologise.
Next on the list is Red Eye. This is what was Red Eye? I'm sure I've seen Red Eye. It was on.
Is that the one with
Netflix,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it? Possibly.
I can't remember now.
It must be something to do with like the New York flight from London to what's it? It must be
I
something.
think it's
like
one of the. I think Red Eye was one where someone was murdered on. Yeah, Jodie Foster. That's it. Thank you, Dirk. Jodie Foster was in that one. 2005.
All these films seem to have very light subject matter, don't they?
Flight Plan. This next one, Flight Plan, was released back in 2005, and that's quite a good one as well. Jodie Foster running backs and forwards on air. She lost her daughter on this plane. I'm not going to say too much about this film because there is.
Oh no! Give the plot away like I did. Just go.
No, there is a bit of a twist in this film, but it is quite good actually. It's very good.
Let me guess. There were snakes in there.
No, that's the next one. Snakes on a Plane, 2006. Snakes on a Plane.
Good Lord.
We must have all seen Snakes on a Plane.
Yes,
Wesley
absolutely
Snipes.
not.
Not Wesley Snipes. Sorry, Samuel L. Jackson. Sorry,
Absolutely
was
not.
in this one.
I can't think of it. I still haven't got. It's got nothing to do with aviation. I still haven't got over the fact that I remember when I was at school, we used to have like the last day of term always used to be like there were various activities you could do. There was a disco you could go to, and I went to go and watch a film. And I was bullied into, and I mean this term, I was bullied into going to see Arachnophobia.
God, that was a film in its time.
It was very much a film in its time. It was absolutely awful. I'm not a fan of spiders. I'm still not a fan of spiders even now. And Victoria Thornborough, if you're watching this, you scarred me for life, girl, because she I was busy. It was a really scary part of the film, and she had very long blonde hair, and she stroked it across the back of my neck. I actually hit the ceiling.
Right, one of my favourites from Liam Neeson next.
Ooh.
Good actor.
Is it
I like
Taken?
It's Non-Stop. This is released back in 2014. It's on Prime if you want to watch this. Good film. If you've not seen that, it's one of those sort of long list of films that Liam Neeson's done. This kind of where he plays a very similar kind of character. But you seen that one, Andy? Is that on the?
I haven't, but I'm reading the description. I want to. He plays an alcoholic, divorced, bitter air marshal. This sounds right up my alley.
Yeah.
A glimpse into the future, perhaps.
The next film on the list, I definitely don't think Andy should watch because it has got so many inconsistencies in it. Is
really?
Incredible.
Not a fan.
It's Plane. That came out a few years ago now. 2023 has come out. Plane did. It's Gerard Butler was in this one. Not one of his best films, I'm not going to lie. But as a pilot, Andy, I think I'll just watch it once and tell us.
Well, on that recommendation, I won't watch it at all.
Yeah.
You'll be screaming at the screen, trust me. Another one that was released in 2023. This was excellent. I absolutely loved this. I signed up to a 7-day free trial of Apple TV to watch this. This was Hijack. It was awesome. Idris Elba was the main character in this.
Huge fan of it. Anything Idris Elba does is incredible in my book.
Very, very tense, kind of suspenseful all based on the aircraft. It was a fantastic series.
Actually, a fun fact about that series as well.
Yep.
It's based on an A330, but the cockpit they used was actually cut off one of the aircraft I used to fly. It's actually a 320 cockpit. There you go.
Is that because you made it unserviceable, and that was the only way they could?
Yes, it was a particularly hard landing, so they had to find something useful for it in its next life.
Oh dear.
And the last one on the list, this one only came out last year. This was really good. I watched this when it came out on Netflix. This is called Carry On. It was released last year. This one is very much based in an airport. This one, but it was a really good film. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this one or not. It's very good.
For anybody based in the UK, I feel like there's a bit of the title missing. It's not Carry On Camping or Carry On Matron, you know.
Carry on flying. Yeah.
Carry on. Carry on. Right, so it is competition time. We're going to give something away. We're not giving away anything for a while. So we decided we're going to give away a little gift, a little prize gift for you to try and win. And to win it, all you got to do is just send us an email to tell us what your favourite aviation-based film is. We're going to try and compile a kind of PTUK favourite list of aviation films. So all you got to do is just send us an email, tell us what your favourite film was, and Matt, I think you've got the pictures there of what you have the chance of winning. So we are going to give away a piece of this particular aircraft here. That's Golf Lima Sierra Alpha India, one of Jet2's 757-200s. This one flew from 1987 till it was retired early this year. And we are giving away as a prize a piece of the skin of this aircraft. And this is one of my favourites personally because it's that silver coloured one, because a lot of the Jet2 aircraft were kind of white. This one had a lovely kind of gunmetal grey finish on the paint there. So we've got a skin section from this. It's been engraved as well. I think Matt's got the other picture there, and you can see we've had it engraved with the aircraft details on there. You can see on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. So that's all you got to do, is just send us an email with your favourite aviation-based film and send it in with us. If you want to put a description, why you liked it, why you hated it, or hated it, liked it, hated it, whatever. And then we'll put all the names into one of Nev's aviation-themed caps and pull the winner out in a few weeks' time. So for the benefit of you guys and girls watching on YouTube, there is the said piece. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see there. And if I turn it round, you can see what glorious colour or shades the back of the skin, the fuselage skin is. And as Andy said earlier before we went live, it is very thin as well. The fuselage skin for the 757 is not all that thick. So there we go. You're not limited to one movie. All you've got to do is literally send an email in with your favourite movie, and that's all you got to do. And as I said, in a few weeks' time, we'll pull the name. We'll put all the names in a hat. We'll pull the names, or pull a name out of a hat, and we'll compile a list of our PTUK listeners' favourite top 10, I think, of aviation films. So yeah, all the details on email address will be at the end of the show. So yeah, there we go. Your chance to win a bit of nostalgia there, bit of a 757. Are you going to enter that one, Nev? That piece of skin for you there?
Yes. What an iconic aircraft, obviously, and of course it was in service for such a long time. With the airline too, wasn't it? So yeah, brilliant.
Comes with a little certificate thing as well with it as well, which is quite nice. So yeah, there we go. Easy to enter. And you've not even got to answer any questions. That's how easy it all is. But
what is the email address, Carlos?
Oh, that'll be at the end of the show. But for the benefit of the listeners right now, it's podcast@planetalkinguk.com. There we go. Right, Nev, handing the gauntlet over to you now for the next part of the show.
Yes, that's the end of the commercial aviation section rather. Next, it's the retro airline ad of the week, and it's back to the 1990s now, to an all-red airline that not only had great service, but check out the in-flight entertainment as well.
Virgin Atlantic, no ordinary airline.
Oh wow!
I mean, it's nice. It's nice to see the 340 at the end of that advert. That's for sure.
Indeed.
But yeah, there was some questionable IFE screens in that for sure. Well, TFT, I think that would probably have been, wouldn't it, Matt? TFT.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, Nev, there's no way they filmed that in the actual airplane, is there? I mean, it didn't look even remotely like the interior of any aeroplane ever.
Yeah, quite.
You could never get away with doing stuff like that now, could you? It's like it's got to be all authentic and stuff. Yes, and that was Richard Branson's voice we heard at the end there, in case you didn't know. Trying to, for those who are listening to the audio version of the show, trying to think how we can best describe what we've just seen, really.
Well, it's one of those kind of 90s-esque adverts, I think, which is glamorized, obviously, by the Virgin Atlantic uniforms. And not only that, it definitely glamorizes the fact that all this lavish food that you can have on board the aircraft, including what I'm surprised you didn't pick up on, Matt. Did you see the cheese board?
No, I missed that.
Yeah. Oh dear! If only that you actually had that. Well, I suppose you do in first class with many airlines, but yeah, unfortunately in economy, you just get kind of 2 crackers in a packet, a packet of butter, and one of those kind of chunks of generic cheddar.
Not these days, you don't.
If I ask Mrs. Nev for the cheese board, I just get a lump of 4B2 on my table.
Well, quite absolutely, yeah. Quite right too.
But no, it's a quite nostalgic look back, and I'm also surprised, Matt, at the quality of that advert, considering it's from the 90s. But
well, as I say, it was clearly on a tape that it had been restored from, shall we say, because you got the authentic wobble.
Yeah. Still loads more in the vault to come in the future weeks. Retro airline ads, definitely. But nice to see a Virgin one. And have you ever flown Virgin before, Nev? Had a chance?
Yes, 747-400 and 747-200.
Oh.
To Newark from Gatwick and to LAX from Gatwick as well. Yes.
What about you, Andy? You flown the red flag?
No, I've never flown a Virgin.
Oh.
It's an airline I mean to fly on. I've got a family member who works there, actually, so I can get good discounts, so I might do that at some point.
As the person sat here with the least amount of flying experience, nowhere near. The nearest I've got to it is going out for dinner with a Virgin captain in New York. That's the nearest I've got to that. But yeah, that's the nearest I got to.
And you've chatted with Captain Nick.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Right. Time for some grey stuff, I think. So, Matt, if you're ready to hit the grey button on the desk.
Blooming heck. Hang on. Yeah, here we go then.
Here we go.
Blast up bogies 13550, Angel 16, heading 340. Okay. Now there's 8 bogies.
And the first story this week in the military segment, and for those of you who may be listening as an audio podcast, it's so funny because Nev, Andy, and Matt have all just gone. So this comes from forcesnews.com. I'm on my own. Same US aircraft carrier loses a second FA-18E Super Hornet in the Red Sea. So the US Navy has allegedly lost a second FA-18 Hornet Super Hornet fighter jet at sea from an aircraft carrier into the Red Sea. There was an arrestment failure when the 49 million pound jet was attempting to land on the USS Harry S. Truman, and the pilot and the weapons systems officer were forced to eject, according to news organisations CNN. It was reported that the pair were rescued by helicopter, with both suffering minor injuries, and the fighter jet fell into the sea and has not been taken back on board the Nimitz-class aircraft carrier. I'm not surprised. I expect it sunk fairly swiftly. An investigation is ongoing, and the US Navy has yet to confirm the incident. And this latest incident follows another last week when a US Navy F-18E Super Hornet and a tow tractor went overboard from a deck on the same aircraft carrier. The jet, which can reach speeds of Mach 1.6, I bet it didn't reach that when it was falling off the edge of the ship, under tow in the hangar bay when the movement crew lost control of the aircraft, and subsequently the fighter jet and the tow tractor fell into the sea. Now, I wonder how you explain that to the insurance companies, Nev, you know, when you're giving them a call. Oh, by the way, we lost an F-18. Oh, yeah, how did you lose it? Was it a crash? Or... No, it fell off the deck of a ship.
You have to do a draw a diagram, don't you, of how the accident happened and things like that. Yeah. But,
yeah, it's a few quid. I mean, 48 or 49 million for one of those. So it's quite.
I think the other thing is that in the military, there's very fine lines between things going very well and going very badly, I would imagine. And I'm sure there's redundancy and, you know, headroom built in for all sorts of things. But when things go wrong like this, it's a massive expense and potential loss of life as well, I've got to say. So, yeah, big moment.
But to lose two, Nev, that's on the same boat.
It's a bit careless. Let's hope they were different crews.
Yeah. And Nev, you have got the next story, and it's good news for Rolls-Royce.
Yes, some more money being spent with Rolls-Royce. It's on the bristolpost.co.uk, and Rolls has secured a £563 million contract with the Ministry of Defence to maintain service engines for Royal Air Force Typhoon fighter jets. Much of the work on the Typhoons engines will take place at the engineering giant's defence headquarters in Bristol. The agreement will see Rolls-Royce providing maintenance and repair support to 130 EJ200 engines, supporting around 200 direct jobs in the process. The 5-year contract was awarded by Defence Equipment and Support, which is the procurement arm of the MOD, which is based at Abbey Wood in Bristol. Adam Riddle, President of Defence at Rolls-Royce, says this contract builds on more than a century of Rolls-Royce partnership and trust with the MOD. This investment enables us and our supply chain to ensure that the RAF can execute their missions effectively wherever and whenever they're needed, and in an increasingly complex global environment. Defence Secretary John Healey, MP, said that the contract delivered on the government's plan for change by securing jobs in the UK. Together with our upgrade programme, this contract will ensure our Typhoon fleet remains the backbone of UK air defence for the next decade. Lyndon Hoyle, who's the Typhoon delivery team head at Defence Equipment and Support, added, this contract not only ensures the continued availability of the Typhoon fleet, it helps drive growth and prosperity within UK defence, reinforcing our dedication to procuring capability that equips our armed forces with competitive edge now and in the future. On Friday of last week, shares in Rolls-Royce, a prominent exporter of aircraft engines, marine engines and power systems, made gains and hit 804.6 pence as the UK looks poised to secure a trade deal with the US, as we have spoken about earlier in the show. So that's good news, isn't it? 130 engines. That's a lot of maintenance, isn't it? Gosh.
That is, yeah. And lots of jobs secure as well, Nev. That's the important thing as well, yeah. Very, very good indeed. But also, just going to quick note as well that I know we actually had Air Force One land at Mildenhall in Suffolk here this week, which made the news this week as well. But no, there's quite a lot of aircraft, or the spotters indeed were tracking the aircraft. But yeah, it's literally just down the road from me and Matt here. We had Air Force One flying too. But yeah, that is it for the military news this week. Now, Nev, we're off to some air shows this year. A slight change to one, but we've got some other bits and pieces planned for this year as well, haven't we?
Yep, so June the 21st, that's a Saturday, we'll be at the Imperial War Museum at Duxford, and it'll be the first outing of the new tripod as well, you'll be pleased to see. So if you want to go to that, it's £54.50, and that price does include the £5 parking ticket, which you will need. If you're an IWM member, that's reduced to £49.55 with the discount. Children aged 15 or younger go free, but they must be accompanied by an adult. So it's important that you book your parking permit as well. On July 26th, we're going to the Shuttleworth Summer Air Show, Shuttleworth Collection. Gates open at 9 o'clock. First flying begins at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then there's a second flying display which starts at 7:30 in the evening, and the gates close at 9 o'clock in the evening. Let's hope this weather continues as well that we've had over the last couple of weeks. It's been absolutely brilliant. Pricing for the show, £42 for adults. If you're a member at Shuttleworth, it's £36, and children can go free. Now, last week on the show we had our chum Alan White, and we were talking about what we'll be doing at the Bray Air Show. That's all coming together quite nicely now. That's Saturday, August the 2nd. So Bray is just slightly south of Dublin in Ireland, and it's the biggest public free event in the country. So we're really looking forward to covering that, and Carlos and I will be going over there to do it. At Beccles on the 30th of August, we've got the PT UK Summer Meetup. More details as and when we have finished sorting out the organisation for that. We were talking about going to the Sywell Pistons and Prop Show. Unfortunately, we've not been able to come to an agreement with the organisers regarding our access to airside or to interview pilots, and that was the real purpose of going. So we're not allowed to do that, unfortunately. So we won't be going this year because, frankly, there's no point in doing that. We do wish them all the best for the event. Hope the weather's good for them as well, but unfortunately it's just not going to fit in with what we need to do, sadly.
No. But it'd be great to see as many of the listeners as we can at the meetups and also the air shows this year. Dux was always a good one on the 21st of June. As we know, Nev, Matt, we always have a good turnout there, and it's always great to see everyone come over to Duxford for that air show. It's a great air show as well on the 21st of June. But yeah, make sure you get your tickets in for that, and don't forget your parking ticket as well, as Nev said, for your car, because that's very important as well if you're going to park at Duxford. But there we go. Where can listeners find out more about us, Nev, and where can they send their emails about their favourite aviation-themed film?
Yes, so you can send your that bit of information to podcast@planetalkinguk.com. That's where all the emails come into. You can search us on the socials, Facebook, X, Instagram or LinkedIn. Just search for Plane Talking UK. And our new WhatsApp number, not so new now, but a reminder of it at least, is +44 7446 975 214. That's +44 7446 975 214. We're on YouTube as well, of course, and you can get notifications when we go live. Just go to youtube.com and search for Plane Talking UK. As you would have gathered, this show does incur some costs with web server costs, media hosting costs and that kind of thing, and the occasional air show cost as well. So you can help us offset some of that by becoming a Patreon of the show, or you can help us with a PayPal donation as well. Just go to planetalkinguk.com and all the details are on there.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. And don't forget your chance to win that piece of skin from that Boeing 757-200, that Jet 2, ex-Jet 2 aircraft there. I'll pop the details as well on our social media site as well. So I'll pop it on Facebook as well. It's on Instagram for you to look at as well. And yeah, that is it. So quick round robin before we wrap up tonight. We're going to see what all the team are up to. We're going to start with Andy this week. Andy, what's in the books for you this week? Or next week?
For the rest of this week, I am desk bound doing some boring regulatory stuff. And then next week, I am down south. I'm instructing all week. So I think I'm on the show, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check that one. because I'm sure it's like daytime instructing. Because then next week I'm doing the 100k challenge again. Bank holiday weekend.
100
to London to Brighton.
Oh my word.
Yep, doing it again. And on that note, we've got around 20 tickets left for the sim raffle. So we're just down. Since once that's done, we'll draw it and let the winner know. So we're nearly there.
Just refresh the listeners' memories as well, Andy. What that's about?
Yes. So it is a 2-hour sim session for you and 3 friends, family, in a full flight A320 simulator with me as your training captain. Woo! Kindly provided by my employer. And basically, the links are on our Facebook page, but we suggest a minimum of £30 donation for me to do this stupid 100-kilometre walk. My wife Ruth has already done her part. She's done London and Paris marathons this year. Make the donation. Sorry, fill in the form, make the donation, and you'll go in the draw. And the lucky winner will be announced once we have done 100. So we're nearly there.
Wow. There we go. I need to get my entrance in as well. I need to get
Time's running out, Carlos.
I know. Nev, what are you up to?
Just finishing off some bits in the ensuite, which is being almost finished now, hopefully. And I won't be on the show next week, unfortunately, because Sue and I are going on a bit of a road trip up to Scotland, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, the Grampian regions, for a few days. So we'll be back on Friday of next week. So I'm hoping that this nicer weather we've had will continue, but you never quite know. But I don't mind if it rains, as long as it rains down south, because we could do with the water down here. But also up in Scotland, it's been so dry as well, so it's been really, really barren. Looking forward to going back to Scotland. Actually, a nice change to drive there rather than the rush of getting on the plane to do it all, which is what I've been doing so much for work. So nice drive up the west coast, I think we'll do, and then coming back down on the east coast, I expect.
Nice.
It's past Andy's
Beautiful.
neck of the woods.
Love that.
And Matt, what's in the plans?
Trying to think. Really, not a lot. Big day for me tomorrow. Very big day for me tomorrow. Trying to see if we can get to the bottom of why I'm not very well at the moment. So yeah, quite worried about that. But hopefully that'll go well. And off to the Rickenhall car show on Sunday with the radio station. We're doing a sort of like an on-site radio station for the punters there, and the forecast, as Nev was saying, there is looking absolutely fantastic, especially on the Sunday. It's supposed to be back to a bit what it was a couple of days ago. So lots of sun cream and sunshade, I think, going to be required. But it's the Jaguar car show at Rickenhall, and there's going to be around about 100 Jaguars all parked on the site there. So it's going to be a very special event, and we've got lots of special speakers dotted around so that we can be heard far and wide across the field. But that's going to be fun.
Good. And the weather, I've just had a look myself, and you're looking at around about 20 on Sunday.
Oh, perfect.
Which is
that
lovely.
should be nice.
Which is lovely and sunny.
Love that.
Right, I shall be going online this weekend and ordering myself a piece of aircraft. Only a small piece.
What, for a change? What?
Only a small piece. I'm only going to get a small piece.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, Gemma's not listening. She can't.
I was
going to
say, I just feel a WhatsApp going into to somebody called Gemma.
I'm being utilised this weekend as a taxi service by my wife, which is lovely, both Friday and Saturday.
Oh, nice.
So
Jolly good.
got an exciting weekend for me, just me and the boys, who are rapidly growing. I know a few people have asked on WhatsApp how the boys are doing, and they are huge.
Yeah.
They are
Pussycats.
growing pussycats for sure.
Absolutely.
But that's it for episode 551 of the show. Big thanks to everyone for tuning in tonight. Thanks to all the YouTube listeners and viewers, and also the audio downloaders of the show as well. Thank you for downloading the show each week. We very much do appreciate that. Also, thanks to Nev for joining in this week. We're going to miss you next week. but have a nice trip with Mrs. Nev. Enjoy yourself. Thanks to Andy as well for taking time out of his busy schedule and joining us this week. Are you back with us next week, Andy? Possibly, potentially, maybe?
Potentially, it will be from the hotel studio wherever I am.
Lovely.
Ooh.
That's fine. And thank you to Mr. Smith, as always, for being in the studio where it's currently 600 degrees Celsius.
So I've got the fan on. It's lovely in here at the moment.
So from me here in the home studio, from Matt in the Master Suite studio, from Nev in his studio, and from Andy in the pub studio. Have a great rest of the week. Have a good weekend. Take care, and we'll see you all again next Wednesday. Say goodbye, Nev.
Take care, everybody. Bye for now.
You. Oh, dear.
Carlos trying to get us taken off air. Always.
Oh, no, we'd never do that. The fair cop, Gov.
Indeed. Let me press that one there. Or what one do I want? What's that one? Let's go. Oh, there you go.
You know, the only problem with having this gorgeous, lovely, hot, sunny weather, Nev, is when you wash your car and then drive 3 miles down the road and then you've got a whole hedge on the front of green and
well, yeah,
bugs.
but also the amount of dust that's around as well. It's absolutely incredible. I washed both cars last weekend, and by the end of the Saturday, I think it was, they're both covered in dust again. Notwithstanding the Portuguese builder creating dust himself with the tile cutting, but yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Absolutely incredible.
It's Saharan sand.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Yes, it's got all that heat coming up from the south.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
that's some very jazzy graphics you're doing there, Matt.
Yeah, just you know.
I'm going to play with his transition.
Oh, well, that one was less exciting. There's lots of things I've not seen there. But whatever Stinger 1 is, Stinger 2. We've got a vertical white reverse. I think we'll stick with the cubes.
That sounds painful.
Like that. It does, doesn't it? Yeah, you can get cream for that.
3 more weeks and I'm Malta bound.
Are you?
Back home. Or I like to call home.
Speaking of things that are registered in Malta.
9 Hotel.
There's is it tomorrow? It's
tomorrow from Glasgow.
Going from Glasgow to JFK.
That lovely high fly flight, yes.
Lovely. Have you, as I say, is it time to eat your hat yet?
No.
No, because it's not a Global Airlines flight.
It's a high flight with Global Airlines painted on the side of the aircraft.
When they get their own call sign and AOC and operate themselves, then I shall eat said hat.
Have you chosen a hat or?
No, because I know it's not going to happen.
Right. Okay. I wondered about whether having one commissioned, especially like I don't know, like a jelly hat or something.
Mother-in-law's very good at making cakes. I'll
Excellent.
Get her to make me a straw boater.
Love that. Yeah.
Out of Kit Kats or something.
Oh, now we're talking.
And I'll eat that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, me too. Sounds good. Yeah.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, first floor east corridor. I'm off to tomorrow, Carlos.
Oh. I shall inform
good
the
luck.
I was gonna
security.
say, do inform security and the wife, because I may need her assistance finding it.
You're bumping into Gemma. Well, you've got a number. You can always mess
Oh
with.
yeah. Well, she's wrong department for me though, isn't she?
Yeah, but she'll help you out.
Did have a coffee last time me and Jono went. We had a coffee with her. That was nice.
Mm.
In the M&S, I presume the card terminals are working again.
Oh, you better check the car park, because I think they're having issues with the car park.
Yeah,
there.
it's free parking at the moment until
okay,
until they get it working, basically. So Soslaw says they'll have it working just in
Jackpot.
time for tomorrow morning.
The hospital, our local hospital, has now upgraded from plastic coin shaped.
I love the tokens though. I used to love that.
ANPR.
Oh,
Yeah.
very jazzy.
Yes.
It's nice to see that part of the world meeting the modern world eventually.
I know. I quite like the tokens though, because they had little RFID tags in them, so that it knew who was what, and you know when it came out of the machine and went in. It was a very simple system, but it was very effective.
Have you got rid of steam trains over there yet?
No, not in North
we've still got
Norfolk.
those.
No, they're still very prominent in North Norfolk, and in fact, on some elements of the line, they do still go from Sheringham onto the main line still. So,
Blimey.
and long may that never stop. In my opinion,
lovely.
yeah,
Gorgeous.
absolutely gorgeous. Highly recommend a visit to Sheringham. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sheringham
Right.
to Holt.
We better let these lovely YouTube viewers get back to their Wednesday night. Thanks to everyone again, to all the YouTube beautiful people for joining us tonight. Have a great rest of the week. And hopefully, all being well, we'll be back next week to bring you another awesome show. So thanks again. And last words from you, Nev, as you're off next week.
Yes, sorry I'm not around next week, folks, but it'd be nice to just do a nice driving holiday for a few days, I must say. But hope everybody has a nice week, remainder of this week and the weekend, and look forward to the show being back on the air next Wednesday, 7 o'clock. In the meantime, bye for now.